Whenever you are investing in any asset class, there are 5 types of risks that you should look at. What are the 5 major risks that you should be looking at? What is meant by a risk? Is the probability of an event that might happen that will impact the performance of the asset class, or you will not get the money at all. That I call it as a risk. There are 5 types of risk. The first risk is called inflation risk. What happens is whether you do something or not, what happens is there is an inflation and the power of money gets devalued over a point in time. The second risk that I'm going to talk about is called liquidity risk. Check with any of your family members or friends, especially in the age group of 40 to 60, check with them whether they were able to dilute real estate at a short time frame of, let's say, 1 week or 3 weeks or 1 month. The most likely they will say it will take about anywhere between 3 to 6 months. So when it comes to liquidity, that is very, very important. Third risk which I'm going to talk about is called as credit risk. There are times where AAA rated papers have gone into default rating overnight. Don't know how many people know about it. There is something called ILFS. So it was commanding a AAA rating. One overnight, the AAA rating became a D rating. Similarly, there is something called 81 bonds. 81 bonds are invested typically in a ticket size of 5 lakhs and 10 lakhs. There are banks like S Bank or Lakshmi Vilas Bank. What happened is 81 bond, like even the principal was at risk. So that I call it as a credit risk or a credit default risk. There are so many benefit nidhi companies that were in Chennai. For example, Rayapeta Benefit Fund, Egmore Benefit Fund. There are so many benefit funds were there where people invested money, and what happened is there were credit risks were also there. And similarly, there is something called market risk. When you talk about market risk, for example, whenever there was COVID kind of a situation, or when there was a war between, let's say, even Ukraine and Russia, or when there was a war that broke out between Indo and Pakistan, what happened is market reacted by 4 or 5%. So there is something called market risk is there. Finally, there is something called interest rate risk. What is meant by interest rate risk is government of India will be keep adjusting that interest rate at least 6 times in a year. Yes, minimum 6 times in a year. Sometimes they will increase it, or sometimes they will just follow whatever is the interest rate in the previous things.